Hello, Star Citizens. Welcome to my new series, Top 5 List. The point is to help you figure out which ships are great for what you want to do in the game. We'll mostly talk about ships that are currently in the game. If we do talk about ships that are still in concept, just be aware that's theory crafting. And remember, digital ships aren't imaginary. Digital ships are necessary. Every month we do a giveaway. This month's giveaway prize will be a Hull A. To enter, subscribe to this channel, like or dislike a video, and leave a comment on a video from this month. For the full giveaway details, make sure you visit our Billionaire Ninjas Discord or our social media at Ninjas Leap. I'm also adding an additional prize for people who actually listen to this first part. If you are the first person to use my code and start a new account, whether it's a friend or whoever it is, I will send you a $20 gift card, but you do have to use the code that's on the screen in order to qualify. If you're hearing this, hurry up and get somebody to do it, and then I will send you a $20 gift card, and I will verify the creation time of your account. Today, our focus is the top 5 ships in the game for fleet defense. Anytime you do a list like this, there are surely people who are going to disagree or have a different list, so make sure you leave your top 5 list in the comments below so people can see what your list looks like, because that is why we do things like this, not to be the definitive voice on the issue, but to start a conversation. We won't fully review these ships, just a few notes about why we like them. You'll have to check out our Review Every Ship by CitizenCon 2024 playlist if you want a more in-depth look at these ships. Also, this list is as of 3.22.1. I'll try to do a new one for each patch if the list changes. So this one is really going to be based on the ships where a flagship needs to be protected and the fleet is depending on you to do it. We're talking the fully crewed offense and defensive beasts of Star Citizen. This is both in-game ships and concept, and yeah, as you might have guessed it, this list is going to be expensive. Let's get started with number 5, the Hammerhead at $725. The Hammerhead almost didn't make the list, which might sound crazy, but I think that just speaks to this being in a bad place as far as value and output. But it's here for one reason. When it's fully crewed, most medium fighters and light fighters cannot stand a chance. Heavy fighters, maybe, but they better strike fast because the Hammerhead has 32 missiles and 24 guns. It's insane. Now, if they could just fix that interior and give this thing the rework it deserves. After that, the Hammerhead, we move to number 4, the Retaliator Bomber at $275. The Retaliator is back on the roadmap for a gold pass, so this is just in time. The Retaliator Bomber has 6 size 9 torpedoes and a ton of turrets. The ability to attack both smaller fighters and defend against the other ships on this list is why the Retaliator is rated higher than the Hammerhead. On top of that, it costs substantially less than the Hammerhead. And on top of that, it costs less than all of the other ships on this list at $275. And when it gets its rework, because it needs a rework just like the Hammerhead needs one, I'm guessing it will go even higher on this list, but we'll have to wait and see if that modularity ends up being as useful as it should be. But even though it's getting the pass it deserves, I wouldn't hold my breath on getting those modules anytime soon. Onward to number 3, the A2 Hercules at $750. Okay, this one is one that maybe a few people don't agree with, mainly because we think about ground combat and jump town when we think about the A2. Let me remind you that those bombs are actually meant for destroying massive capital ships. I mean, good luck getting close enough to fully manned capital ships to drop one, but I'm guessing master modes will make that a much more viable option. When it does, this thing fully crewed is an absolute problem for a capital ship. Think about it, tons of turrets on the bottom and insta-kill size 10 bombs that will kill just about anything they touch. I actually like that there's a kind of high skill for getting those on target, because then you're not just paying to win. Well, you know, depending on who you ask. You still have to learn how to use these properly. Capital ships are going to be slow and these will be much faster, so they should be able to put about 2 million hit points of damage on that massive armor fairly accurately for the skilled pilot. But you will definitely be paying for the privilege. Onward to number 2. The Perseus, the RSI Perseus at $675. What can I say about the Perseus? It has 2 size 7 dual weapons that will make pretty much any capital ship crap its pants. Not to mention it's on track to be one of the most heavily armored ships in the entire game, so it can dish it as much as it can take it. Not to mention some automated turrets and some size 3 dual remote turrets. This thing is going to be able to fight anything from a heavy fighter and up, and even when its guns are shot off, you can just park this in front of what it's trying to defend and let it eat bullets and missiles. Yeah, you can do that. I think this could have even hit the #1 spot if it's matched with the Hammerhead, but because it requires that other ship, I had to put it at #2. You ever heard of the best offense being a good defense? Whoever said that was talking about the Perseus. Yes, I know the game didn't exist. They were talking about the future. Anyway, before we move on to our #1, you know we have to throw in an honorable mention. And our honorable mention is this bad boy, the Nautilus, the Aegis Nautilus to be specific, at $675. I didn't know whether to put this on the list because it's a controversial ship and we don't know a whole lot about it, but I figure it could still get an honorable mention. Imagine dropping hundreds of mines, which are tiny and difficult to detect, on 6 different sides of your capital ship base, and then patrolling around with a big dual size 7-man turret. That is a heck of a defense. I also don't think a lot of people believe in the ability of the mines in space. I hear the concerns, but I think people are heavily underestimating how useful mines will be in Star Citizen, and I can't wait until they reveal more details to prove me right. Or wrong, at least we can stop wondering, eh? All right, and moving on to #1. It might be obvious at this point, but it's the Polaris at $750. I mean, is there any other choice? It was built ground up to shoot just about anything you can throw at it. It has a smaller size 3 missile box to scare away fighters. It has massive size 10 torpedoes to take out capital ships from long distances in 1 or 2 shots. It has size 4 and 5 turrets to handle the medium fighters, heavy fighters, and large ships, not to mention an automated turret for the things we don't see. It's got a capital shield on top of all of that. This thing will be able to attack at distance before you even know it. When you do find it, it's in hyperspace prepping for another run. Oh, and if you do catch it off guard, it can fit multiple light fighters in its hangar or an F8. So good luck dodging turrets and the fighters. I know what you're thinking. The Polaris is probably the most overhyped ship in Star Citizen, and it's mostly meant for offense. And you're right. Well, at least you're half right. You're wrong about the overhyped part. It's much deserving of all the hype it gets. It is one of the best ships in the game, and I believe it's the best fleet defense ship in the game. Even though it's meant for offense, and I said earlier, the best offense is defense, well, if you got this much offense, that's just not true. Get yourself a Polaris, at least if you got $750 laying around. So there you have it, our top 5 fleet defense ships to purchase as of 3.2 2.1. Let us know your top 5 in the comments and stay tuned for the top 5 capital flagships to end out our top 5 lists, at least for a while. We suggest renting ships and trying them out for yourself before you make a decision. It's your money after all. But no matter what ship you get, I want to be clear, no ship will be the perfect ship. You'll always have to get the right ship for the right job, and everything will be pushed to be balanced, so it's more important to pick a ship that you like and you don't mind flying and can have the most fun with. If you don't like the gameplay of the ship, you won't have any fun, and that's the true point of the game, right? All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for spending your time with us. See you in the next one. Peace.